To make my pizza, I use some 00 flour. It's high protein flour. And I'm gonna make a ferment. In Italian, we call it biga. It's a liquid biga. And then we're gonna build our dough on top of that. So let's make some biga. So I got some flour in here. Just feels very thin and beautiful. Love it. My fresh yeast, again, if you don't have fresh yeast, don't worry, get some dried yeast. It will work perfectly fine. Rub the yeast in your flour. And then some warm water into it. I use a whisk to mix it up. It's very simple. It becomes like a thick paste. That's all. Bit of tidy up. So using my scraper, I go round and around. And that's all there is to it. So liquid, little bigger there. And I can put a cloth on the top if I leave it for 2 or 3 hours. If I leave it overnight, usually I put a big plastic bag so it doesn't dry off on the top. And that will be all bubbly and beautiful in a few hours. Okay, so we're gonna make the pizza dough now with our biga, which is ready. I'm gonna use a mixer, but of course you can do it by hand if you want to. You don't have to have a mixer for it. So remember, when you use a mixer, I use cool liquid all the time. If I do it by hand, you can use a bit slightly warmer water. The mixer generates quite a lot of heat while mixing the dough. So let's take you through the ingredients for this. So we've got our biga, we made with flour, water, and a tiny bit of yeast. And I got some water. I got some good extra virgin olive oil, bit of salt, bit more yeast, and I love semolina. I put a bit of semolina in there. So the semolina, it's got a nice color in there. It doesn't add too much flavor at all, but it just gives you that nice texture in your dough. I quite grit into it, which I love. And I put some semolina with the flour. Gently blend it. My salt will go straight into it, that's fine. Put on one side there, and then the yeast, break it down. Now you can blend all this together, that's fine. I put my water and my oil, not too much, just a tiny bit of oil, in the bottom of the bowl first. And then I'm going to put our biga into this. It's got a beautiful creamy color. Beautiful. It's flavor. Here we go. Put the rest of my ingredients on the top. And then on the mixer. And for this I use a dough hook as well. I always mix on slow speed first, about 3 or 4 minutes on slow speed. And then go on medium speed and mix the dough until it's completely clean on the side of the bowl. And we finish the dough with a tiny bit of olive oil on the table. But let's be patient, make the dough first. Good, so as you saw there, the dough comes clean on the side of the bowl. You get that nice flapping noise. I know the dough is ready. So I'm going to finish it off by hand with a tiny bit of olive oil now. All the dough out. As you can see there, there's no top, no bottom, no shape into that dough. So we need to give it a bit of shape. So I'm going to use my scraper for that. Just gather the dough together. And then just a few flip behind that. And suddenly you can see it start to form already. And this in here doesn't stick. I'm going to put a tiny bit of olive oil to finish it off. Just a tiny bit. And rub that all on the top. That's got to rest now. We're going to leave it rest for 2 or 3 hours. Just that. Cover it, and that will make a great pizza. Okay, so my dough now has been rested for 6 hours, so we can see what's happened with fermentation again. So have a look at this. Beautiful. A lot of bubbles, really active dough now. So use a tiny drop of olive oil on the table. Use my scraper, tip the dough over. too big. Perfect. Any extra bit, just put them in them like that. I'm going to put a tiny bit of olive oil and rub that all on the tray. Just over my thumb, fold them a few times. Your top is in here and all the seams are there. And what I do there is just bring all the seams together. This action in here in French is called la clé, the key. You lock everything together. So you give some strength to your dough just by bringing all those bits together, like that. You look a bit like mozzarella. Dough make me happy. You can see that, look at that, beautiful. And the last one. Here we go. So our pizza now is going to rest. It's going to ferment and get softer, so it's easier to roll or manipulate to flatten the pizza. We got everything ready, and that's what I like. If you got all your ingredients ready, my oven is really, really hot, dough is ready, and let's make some pizza. So the way I'm going to do that, I'm going to use a mixture of semolina flour. Put my dough on the top there. Don't force it, or don't overstretch it. Just work with it gently in your fingers, and suddenly the dough will stretch by itself. Smell glorious too. Incredible. But that's big enough. And then I'm going to put a tiny bit of semolina on my peel in here, and put that dough on the top. And then put some topping. So a little bit of tomato. Mozzarella. Good mozzarella. Little basil. Just don't fuss. I love oregano, so I'm going to put a tiny bit of oregano on top. Works well. Bit of black pepper, tiny bit of salt. That's good. And a tiny drop of olive oil. That's ready. So, ready for the oven. Take it out, turn it around a little bit, spin it around so the heat is even everywhere. But whoa, look at this. Look at those bubbles there. Beautiful. A nice crust underneath. Beautiful, beautiful. And the leopard skin you've got there as well. Stirring, stirring, stirring. Let's make some more. So I'm going now, make some more. Stretch that dough. What I also want to show you is bake one in my normal oven, so you don't have to have a pizza oven. It's nice to have it, of course. But if you got your hot baking stone in your oven, you can do a very good pizza too. So I'm going to show you both, and we can see the difference when they're both done. Beautiful. More tomato. Mozzarella. God, the smell of the basil, I love that. I feel like summer. So this one, in my oven in here. Okay, so I'm going to take the pizza out of the oven we put there. That's the one we did on a little pizza oven. So you can see the contrast on the intensity of the heat on the pizza oven, make it all bubbling and very light. But you can make great pizza also in your oven at home. So the crust will be a bit tighter, a bit thicker, but still bit more of crunch. On a little pizza oven, a minute and a half maximum. They go very, very quick. You can see if you don't spin them around, you might get a bit of a dark spot on this one. In my domestic oven, this one was 230 maximum, okay? Make sure it's really, really hot. You need a lot of heat. And it takes about nearly 6, 7, 8 minutes, depending on your oven. I put it on the top, so you get a lot of heat. But again, keep your eyes on it. Don't say it takes 6 minutes. Just have a look and see what's happened. Use a baking stone or a baking tray, and you get your heat in there, okay? Bon appétit.